Good evening and welcome to Blueprint Explosive Exclusive. I'm Madhavdas G. Viewers, the NEET scandal has now exploded into a nationwide probe. A day after the NTA scrapped the NEET-UG 2026 exam, the CBI has officially stepped in. Earlier today, CBI officers reached the NTA headquarters and met Director General Abhishek Singh. Sources tell Times Now that investigators are now tracking emails, WhatsApp and Telegram forwards along with the alleged guest papers circulated before the exam. So far, Shubham, the MBBS student from Nasik, brothers Dinesh and Mangilal from Rajasthan, Rakesh, who allegedly received a 410-question bank, have all been detained as the probe widens. All right, big breaking update coming in at the moment. The CBI has just released a statement on the ongoing probe in the NEET paper leak. CBI has confirmed that 5 accused have been arrested, which include 3 from Jaipur, 1 from Gurugram and 1 from Nasik. Searches were conducted across multiple locations in the country, and CBI also says that during these searches and arrests, several incriminating materials, electronic devices including mobile phones, have been seized. The agency is also coordinating with the Special Operations Group Rajasthan, which had conducted a preliminary inquiry in this case. Let's quickly go across. Let me introduce all our reporters. With us is Priyank. Also with us at the moment is we have Paras joining us, and Bhavtosh, of course, also joining us at the moment. Bhavtosh, coming to you first. It's very clear now CBI has taken over the probe. They've had 5 arrests, but what's interesting is that over 150 people have been questioned by the different agencies of the states that have been probing this matter. Bhavtosh.
Yes, Madhav, in fact, because of the fact that the case have interstate links and because of the very nature of the case, the government decided to hand over the investigations to CBI, and CBI for the first time has issued a statement because of the various implications involved in the case, and the agency has issued a statement saying that they have arrested 5 individuals in the case, 1 from Gurugram and also 3 from other parts, and importantly they have arrested 1 individual who has been identified, at least Congress has said, that who has links with BJP, and they have also said that they are conducting an impartial probe and a professional probe, and they want to go to the bottom as far as this leak is concerned. As we all know that papers are being leaked continuously from NTA. They want to know whether the leak has happened from NTA or whether it has happened from other sources. They have said that they have in fact found that they have recovered many incriminating documents. Searches have been conducted across the country. They have also said they are working in close tandem and coordination with SOG. Importantly, they have said that several suspects have also been detained, but only 5 individuals have been arrested. Their custody have been taken. They are being brought to Delhi on transit remand because the FIR that has been filed in this case have been registered in Delhi, and they will be questioned. They will be in fact brought to a court in Delhi, and their custodial remand will be taken by the Central Bureau of Investigation. Because the case has also been registered under Prevention of Corruption Act, it could be possible that government officials are also involved in this case.
All right, let's quickly take this across to Priyank as well, because some breaking news coming in. There are agencies which are probing the NEET paper leak case who have now traced a money trail linked to Nasik, Gurugram and Jaipur. Sources say that candidates were allegedly promised 150 questions for 10 lakh rupees. The SOG has given a clean sheet to the whistleblower in this entire case, while the CBI is now hunting for the alleged mastermind behind this racket. Priyank is joining us for more on this. All right, Priyank also has got us this update that the NEET paper leak probe has uncovered a multi-state racket. The links are stretching from Rajasthan to Nasik. Investigators suspect the paper was leaked through a courier network with the PDF that was later circulated on WhatsApp. Sources say students allegedly paid between 27 and 30 lakh in this instance, with over 150 being questioned and around 20 now under the scanner. The CBI continues its hunt for the key mastermind behind this racket. Let's go across to Priyank for more on this. Priyank, it's very clear that whether it's 10 lakh, whether it's 20 lakhs, 30 lakhs, whatever they may have paid, this was a well-organized racket. And it's a fact that there are several involved in this WhatsApp groups even that have been formed. But take us through the details of the money trail that investigators are looking at.
See, Madhav, it has been established that the money trail happened in between Jaipur, Nashik, and Gurgaon. That's why these arrests have been made. The Central Bureau of Investigation have arrested Yash, who's an accused from Gurgaon. Then they have also arrested Shubham, who has been arrested from Nashik, and Dinesh, who has been arrested from Jaipur. So these are the three prominent names out of 5 individuals who have been arrested. What was very alarming that these individuals had promised to the student that out of 180, 150 question answers will be matching to the NET papers. If that happens, then certainly the candidate was supposed to pay around 10 lakh rupee. As a token money, 30,000 rupees each from the students have been paid to these individuals. Since the CBI has managed to establish a money trail, that's why these arrests have been made, Madhav, in this case.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us with all those updates. All right. Just one more update coming in. The CBI has now intensified its probe into the NEET paper leak case. In fact, multiple suspects have been detained after raids across Ahilya-Nagar. Several individuals are currently being questioned at the SP office, with investigators widening the scope of the probe. Sources say Dhananjay Lokhande is also amongst those being interrogated as the agency continues its crackdown in the alleged leak racket. Let's quickly, in fact, go across to Paras. Paras, now several of the individuals who've been arrested are part of the racket from Nasik. What is their role that they are looking at, and what further have investigators been able to get through the questioning of these arrested individuals? I beg your pardon.
Madhav, there are 3 main characters in this entire Nashik, Ahilya-Nagar and Pune case. One is Shubham, who was the main accused in this NEET paper leak case. He bought this paper from Dhananjay Kulkarni, who is from Ahilya-Nagar. From Ahilya-Nagar, Shubham went to Pune, and from Pune, this paper by road was taken to Nashik. In this entire matter, there are 3 more persons who has been detained by Ahilya-Nagar SP office. They are being interrogated by the CBI. With that, there is one more person in Pune who has been continuously investigated and been questioned in this entire scenario. But the main role right now, which we can see, is of Shubham, who has been arrested and been granted transit remand by Mumbai court for 2 days. But Ahilya-Nagar is also a main place where there are total 3 people has been detained, and 1 woman has been detained who was continuously in touch with Dhananjay Lokhande. So now there were some transaction which was made between Dhananjay and this woman. With that, Shubham also having touch with Lokhande and a person from Haryana who took paper from him after he reached Nasik. So there are so many questions which should be answered, and that's why CBI is probing into this.
All right, Paras, I'd like to thank you, Priyank, as well as Bhavtosh, for joining us with all those updates. We're going to continue to track this story very closely here on Times Now, but the developments are still coming in. Why is this still a very significant aspect in terms of a larger systemic issues? Because back in 2024, the Ministry of Education has constituted a 7-member committee under ex-ISRO chairman Dr. K. Radhakrishnan to ensure transparent, smooth and fair conduct of examinations and overhaul of the NTA. Now, they had produced a 184-page report which was submitted within 2 months, but most of the 101 listed reforms have been implemented only partially. Let's give you some of the recommendations and what's really happened as far as they are concerned. One is to scrap all contractual staff, install high security permanent cadre. They've also said that there should be government centers only, no private schools and colleges as venues for conduct of these examinations. They've also said there should be digitally encrypted papers printed just before the exam. They've also said there should be AI-driven biometrics that should be installed, and Aadhaar AI checks should be put in to stop the solver gang issue, which has also been plaguing, in fact, the NEET exams and other competitive exams. Adaptive testing model, which should randomize questions for every student, and therefore, in fact, the questions would not be the same. There should be election-style security, where the DCs, the state machinery, are to handle the logistics in this case. They would limit the NTA's role, where the focus would only be on NEET and JEE exams. So these are some of the suggestions which have put in place by this committee, but this has not been implemented. Now let's also look at when a similar leak happened in 2024, this time in Bihar and Jharkhand. The NTA then termed it as localized, and what did they do? There was no retest that was conducted. But what happened to all the accused responsible for the 2024 NEET-UG paper leak? Let's tell you more about what that happened in that particular case. Officials from the school where the sanctity of the exam was breached had been sent to judicial custody, and of course they were charged under the Prevention of Corruption Act later as well. The so-called solvers, or the accused of writing the exams for the candidate, were permanently banned from the medical profession. They were arrested and expelled as well at that point of time. The assets of the masterminds have been seized by the ED and they face dual scam prosecution. But the fallout doesn't end there. 144 candidates, the direct beneficiaries, have already been disqualified, their results cancelled and their names blacklisted by the NTA. So let's quickly take this across to my colleague Kritika. Kritika, questions that many are asking is that A, there are a number of reforms that were suggested, they were not implemented. If you look at the investigation into the entire case, whether people were prosecuted and they've been handed out jail terms, that also does not seem to have happened. So where is the deterrence in law, and where are the reforms that are going to actually cure this kind of paper leaks in the future?
Well, absolutely. There were a total of 95 recommendations that were made by the former ISRO chief, and we're yet to see a lot of them, in fact, be applied. Yes, the NTA has now started having Aadhaar-based biometric verification in place, but as far as the recommendations that were specifically about eliminating leaks of question papers, of in fact having a regulation in terms of the type of third-party transportation agencies, delivery partners are onboarded, all of that still remains unimplemented. In fact, the big question and the suggestion for a lot of educators also that we've been speaking to, having a computer-based testing module or even splitting the big NEET exam into a prelim or a main module as well is still under consideration, is still being analyzed for feasibility as far as the Ministry of Education is concerned. So, of course, 2 years on since the NEET 2024 fiasco, there is still a lot more that can be done. Over to you.
All right, thanks so much for that quick update there, Kritika. Let's quickly open this up and take it across to our guest. Sanjay Sahai is with us, ex-IPS and founder director of TechCon Pro. We also have Pawan Relay, who is of course an advocate of the Supreme Court. Kapil Gupta is founder of neetprep.com, who's also with us. We also have Kishore Subramaniam, who's a policy analyst, joining us. Let me start first and foremost with Sanjay Sahai. Sanjay Sahai, where have things gone so wrong as far as this entire matter is concerned? Reforms being suggested, high security sort of GPS tracking of the question papers that is reportedly happening, and yet in transit these papers get leaked. It's a story that's repeated itself. It's a story that affects lakhs of students and lakhs of their parents as well, but yet we just can't seem to get it right as a nation.
Yeah, I think end-to-end it is a broken system. So let's understand the clarity, with clarity how the whole workflow happens. So if NTA till today, after going through all sorts of embarrassment, is not able to make out as to what is the nature of physical security and cyber security which needs to be provided for this exam, I don't think any reports or committees from outside will be able to bring about any change. With regards to the committee which you are talking about, we'll come to the committee. But there is a whole organized gang which is operating in this country. I think all of us have gone through details of the way things have been happening, whether it's Bihar, Jharkhand, and now literally the whole country. Now, do we even have a database of these people, and do we do any work as far as the criminal examination intelligence? There's a new area which is coming up, which is criminal examination intelligence or examination criminal intelligence. Do we work on that, and do we work on things which are happening with the coaching centers all around the place? Now, when this thing has been bought on 29th or 26th, 27th of April and has been transacted all throughout the place, the local police plus NTA has completely absolved itself from the leaks. Only yesterday, the chairman of the NTA has been talking about that we don't know anything, only the CBI will do, and whatever CBI comes up with, so after that we implement. I think that also in a very vague manner. Anybody who has no expertise today in the area in which he works, I think he is failing the whole system. He should not be in the system. Generalists don't serve. Let's be
Okay.
very, very clear about it. Things are extremely complicated as it stands today. So unless we understand the whole gamut. Now you come to the Radhakrishnan Committee. Radhakrishnan Committee, as most of the committees do, they will give you all types of suggestions. Now the wherewithal for that suggestion, where will it come from? It will come from the Ministry of Education. Ministry of Education will keep mum. So this whole 186 recommendation, the wherewithal is financial, human resource, procurement, implementation, enforcement, inspection, audit. Who is doing it?
Okay.
So that primarily goes into a report. So
Yeah.
broadly as it stands today, my understanding is that we lack expertise which should be there in NTA, and also the.
No, let's go one by one. Let's go one by one. Is it really something that's unimplementable? Let's bring in Pawan Relay on that. Pawan Relay, one of the simple suggestions that they can transport or in fact communicate the entire question paper via email to the various examination centers and then print them out and hand it to those particular students. Why is that so difficult to implement? Because it's clearly in transit that the paper often gets leaked.
Yes. So see, we need to find out that for all these things, what is the law? So I have divided the law prior to 2024 and after 2024. Even prior to because the law is not stringent. Kindly see the law. Before 2024, if anyone was found leaking the paper, they were being booked under either cheating or theft or receiving stolen property or criminal breach of trust, very minor offenses. After 2024 also, they have come up with a new act, which is called the Public Examination Prevention of Unfair Means Act 2024. And this act has come into force on 21st June 2024. But again, the maximum punishment which has been given in the act is 3 to 5 years, or in some cases, if it's in relation to organized crime, it's 10 years. And the problem is the person can get bail easily because the condition for the bail is not so stringent like NDPS Act. They should get the stringent condition for bail.
Yeah.
Why I'm telling you this? I'll tell you one case. Because see, there is no data that how many people who have leaked the paper have been convicted. There was one case in Bihar where there was a paper leak.
No, forget Bihar. The 2024 case I just spoke about. How many have been prosecuted in this case? That's the most important. Let me get in Kishore Subramaniam on this. Kishore Subramaniam, as a policy analyst, when we, overhaul a law, when you, bring in a new law for a particular purpose, the least one expects is A, that there would be speedy prosecution and that there will be, a little more enhanced punishment. In this case, those who did the act in 2024, they are getting away scot-free, which is why there is absolutely no deterrence for those to not do it in 2026.
Okay, good evening to my fellow panelists, and let me patiently present 2-3 points. Point number one, this is a very large country, but having said that, the judiciary incompetence is such that there is absolute freedom to commit crime. And let me give you some point blank instances. In India, the reported financial crimes that happen every single day, which has been reported to the cybercrime department through RBI, is 20,000 per day. If you get, and I'm sure all of us in the panel would have got some fraudulent calls saying that you are getting digitally arrested, blah, 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 whatever it is. And these buggers, if you confront them on the telephone, do you know what they say? बस आप कुछ नहीं कर पाओगे, पुलिस हमारे हाथ में, हमसे पैसा खाती है. This is the condition of the country. So what is leaking is not the NEET paper alone, but also our moral conscience, and that's the typical reason is judiciary is incompetent. Point number one. Point number two. See, in a large country, how much ever you put protection in system, there is always going to be some criminal who's going to conspire to find it out. Point number three. In this world of AI and digital technology, I find it surprising that you are transporting papers, bundles and bundles of papers.
That's the whole point. That's exactly the point we're making. At least a basic thing like, communicating it via email or some other secured mechanism can be put in place. Kapil Gupta, your response to the kind of, probe that is coming out now, the CBI has confirmed it's arrested 5 people. But, is this something that was just waiting to happen, given the absolute lack of either stringent laws or punishment of the past accused or adequate safety measures being taken currently?
See, stricter laws in a country like India only means people who are enforcing the law are going to make more money, right? So I think we need to look at it structurally, assuming that things are not going to fundamentally change in terms of how honest as a country we are going to become and whether corruption is going to go away or not. First thing that needs to happen is it needs to be made a 2-step exam And the first step should happen at the state level, so that if leakage happens at a state level, it should be conducted rather than conducting all over India. So for example, what can be done is every state can recommend these are the best students which are there from our side, now take their exam at the central level. And at the central level, conduct a computer-based test. So we have to come up with practical solutions. Otherwise, this is a problem waiting to happen every year. NTA
Absolutely.
has 20,000 people trying to conduct an exam for 23 lakh people. Those 120,000 people, which includes around 30,000 invigilators, how much do they get paid versus what they're going to get paid after getting compromised? It is like a problem waiting to happen, because just the structure is such, it is just fundamentally flawed.
Absolutely. It's the structure that needs to be overhauled. Several such reforms have been recommended, many of them hanging fire. Why our various government bodies are not able to coordinate and implement them is certainly a very big question, because this affects the lives of not just the 22 lakh students who take the exam every year, but also their parents, their family members, their friends, all of them, of course, under the scanner, under a lot of stress during this period. And if their dreams are shattered, if their hopes are shattered, then that seriously has questions for us as a nation in terms of why we can't even ensure a proper examination test, entrance test for the most important of all professions, that is the medical profession. We'll have to leave it there. Sanjay Sai, Pawan Rile, Kapil Gupta, Kishore Subramaniam, thanks so much for joining us. Quick breaking update coming in. Jammu and Kashmir Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha has decided to reduce the size of his official convoy by half following Prime Minister's appeal for fuel-saving measures. According to Lok Bhavan officials, the move is aimed at promoting fuel conservation and setting an example amidst growing concerns over global energy situation. Slipping into a quick break, more news and updates on the other side.